Hello dear students, welcome to this video tutorial. Today in this video I am going to discuss the second part of the lesson, crop production and management. So in this video we are going to discuss the various steps that are involved in cultivation or in agricultural practices. So in order to do cultivation, there are certain things that are to be considered by the farmer. For example, the property of the soil, what kind of soil quality it is, or the temperature, the altitude, the availability of water, etc. So all these different factors are very important in order to consider what kind of crop you are going to grow in that particular land or in the particular area. So let us see what are the basic steps that are involved in agriculture. So the very first step for cultivation is the preparation of land or the preparation of soil. So soil preparation is done with the help of tractor or with the help of a plow. With the help of a tractor or the plow driven by a tractor. But conventionally it used to be pulled by the cow or the bull. They used to pull the plow in the land in order to make it loose and soft. Since the land may be covered with jungles or some unwanted plants, so it has to be cleared first of all, and then with the help of a plow, the land or the soil will be made soft, or the loosening or turning of the soil will be done with the help of a plow driven by a tractor or by a bullock or cow. So this process is called plowing or tilling. So that is our very first step, and that is preparation of soil. That is number one, preparation of soil for cultivation with the help of a plow driven by a tractor or by cow or a bull conventionally. So that is preparation of soil. Then our next step is the seed selection and seed sowing. So after the land is prepared, that is after plowing and tilling, because after turning and loosening of the soil, there may be some big clumps left. So that has to be leveled. Okay, so leveling also should be done during the time of soil preparation or in the very first step itself, that is plowing or tilling. Then secondly, when you are going to sow seed, you have to select the seeds, because the seed may be of different variety types, so you have to select a good quality seed in order to sow it for better result, right? So there are some methods by which you can select the good quality seed, for example by soaking it overnight. After you soak it overnight, if some seeds may remain afloat and some remain submerged. So the seeds which remain submerged are the good seed, means they are not spoiled, so they can be taken, and the one which are remain floating on the water can be discarded. So in this way you can select seeds of good quality or a better quality, then you can take it for sowing. And in some cases even the actual sowing is done by random. The seeds are allowed to grow randomly, and then they are allowed to grow for certain height or up to some seedlings or some few more days. Then they are uprooted and then they are retransplanted. For example, in case of paddy, first paddy are sown in a small piece of area randomly, and then they are uprooted and then they are transplanted. So in that way also sowing can be done. So that is our second step, sowing of seed or selection of good quality seeds, right? Okay. Then our third step is adding manure and fertilizer. So after you sow seed, the seed will germinate, it will start to grow and it will become a seedling. Now the next step is to add manures and fertilizer. Adding manure and fertilizer is very important, as apart from the sunlight or the water for photosynthesis for the plant to grow, they also require nutrients for their better development, right? as we are growing crop in order to get the produce or the product from the plant. So it is very important that we supply the required nutrients to the plant so that they grow well and there will be better production. So in order to do that, we used to apply manure and fertilizer so that the plants or the crops grow well and we have a better yield. So this nutrient can be supplied by adding either manure or fertilizer. So there is a difference between using of manure and fertilizer. These manures are organic, whereas fertilizers are chemical, right? So the manures are obtained by the decomposition of organic substances. They are the compost. It can be the compost of cow dung, or even the waste that are produced in our houses, right? So these manures are obtained naturally by the natural process of decomposition, which we call as compost, right? Whereas fertilizers are obtained or are synthesized chemically in the laboratories. They are produced artificially and they are produced in the factories, right? So they are the chemical substances. So the difference between these two is these are produced or obtained by natural means, or these are by artificial means. But there are advantages as well as disadvantages of using both manures and fertilizers, right? So let us understand what are the advantages as well as disadvantages of using manures and fertilizer. First, since manures are naturally obtained substance, they do not have a specific nutrient, or they do not have a specific and a particular nutrient which are required by the plant. Means they just have a random amount of nutrient, mixed type of nutrient present in the compost. It is not fixed, right? That is about the manure. At the same time, the manures are bulky, they are not easy to transport. At the same time, they are not easy to store, right? As they are obtained by the compost or decomposition of the organic matter. So sometimes it may be difficult to store them. At the same time, it may be difficult to store. But it has tremendous good effect in the soil quality, as the compost may contain many microbes and other substances that help further in the decomposition of the other waste material or other organic waste in the soil. And additionally, it also helps in making the soil porous and good water holding capacity. Means the water retention capacity of the soil is enhanced. As a result, it can absorb more of the water. It becomes porous, soft, so that the plants, the root can grow, can penetrate well and they can grow well. So those are the advantages of manure. And this does not have any prolonged effect. You may use manure or the organic waste, the organic compost continuously without any danger, because it does not cause any harm to the environment. Rather, it has a good effect in the quality of the soil. It maintains the soil quality year after year with the use of organic manure. But at the same time, if we consider fertilizer, since these are artificially synthesized and contain chemicals, they have it can show better result compared to the organic manure initially, as it has a specific amount of the nutrients required by the crop, right? It has the right amount of nutrients required by the crop, right? So it shows a very good result during the initial time. But there are a lot of disadvantages of using chemical fertilizer. For example, the continuous and excessive use of fertilizer may make the soil barren or may make the soil lose its fertility, and the soil will be dependent on fertilizer gradually if we continue to use fertilizer year after year, and eventually it may also lead to the soil to become barren, or it may lose its fertility forever. Right, so that's why chemical fertilizer are not very encouraging. At the same time, it has a very adverse effect. It causes an adverse effect to the environment or to the ecosystem as well, because after you apply fertilizer, the runoff of from the agricultural land may go to the nearby water source, and it may cause water pollution, because the chemicals present in the fertilizer may get mixed or may reach to the water source nearby and may cause water pollution, and also may cause loss of aquatic life form, and also may lead to biomagnification. So that is why chemical fertilizers are not very encouraged for farming. So we prefer for organic manure for cultivation. So such type of agricultural practice where only organic manure is used for cultivation or no use of chemical is known as organic farming. So these days we are more towards organic farming, as it has very less effect, or it has no effect, you can say, in terms of ecosystem or to the environment. Maybe the yield may be little less comparatively, but it does not have a future consequences, right? So we prefer organic farming as well as organic manure. So let me discuss you some more regarding the organic manure. Nowadays there are some activities which help to produce organic manure by some scientific method. For example, vermicomposting, right? So vermicomposting is a process in which the earthworms are used to decompose the organic waste. Here, these earthworms are handled scientifically, under a shed. There are different chambers made, and the organic waste are collected. Many organic waste are produced in the household. So every household, the organic waste or the kitchen waste can be collected, like the vegetable peels or the leftovers, etc. Even from the vegetable market, the leftover, the vegetables who are wasted can be collected and used for vermicomposting. Here the earthworm are used in order to decompose the organic waste, because the earthworm will feed on those substances, organic matter, and then the casting of the earthworm will serve as a compost, which is known as the vermicompost, and contain lot of nutrients and are of and they show beneficial effect to the crops. So vermicomposting is encouraging these days in terms of making the people self-employed. In villages people can set up this vermicompost unit, and this can also be done for selling purpose, or they can also earn some money out of their practice. So in this way it can have both economic as well as it can also have some benefit towards agriculture and towards the financial assistance to the people. So that is about vermicomposting. So this is also reason why the earthworms are also known as the friends of farmer, because the nature of earthworm is to move inside or within the soil. So earthworm normally they used to stay in the uppermost or the topmost layer of the soil, as in the topmost layer they will have the food to eat, right? So they used to move up and down within that layer, and this movement of the earthworm makes the soil porous and soft. So the plants are able to penetrate their roots well, right? So in this way the earthworm help the vegetation to grow well in that particular soil or the land. So that is about vermicomposting or about the organic manure. So with this I end my explanation here, and that is the second part, and we have discussed here number 1 step, that is preparation of soil. In an agricultural practice, the first step is to prepare the land selection, the clearing of the land. If there are jungles or if there are unwanted plants, they have to be cleared first of all, and then loosening and turning of the soil so that before you sow, the seeds can germinate well, can penetrate their roots well. So for this purpose we require some tools like plough. There are wooden plough or plough made up of iron, which are driven by a tractor nowadays, and also conventionally it used to be driven by the cow or the bull. and after that the big lumps will be leveled or will be crushed with the help of a leveler, and then the soil will be prepared. After that we will sow the seed, and before sowing we should select the good quality seed which are not spoiled or which are not eaten by any worm or insect. So that good quality seeds will be selected and will be sown. So there are two methods of sowing. Sowing can either be done with hand by simply or randomly throwing away in the land, that is called broadcasting by the manual method, or the sowing can be done with the help of a machine called seed drill. So with seed drill, the seed will be allowed to drop one by one at a fixed or at a specific distance, right? So seed drill will be more particular, more specific, and it will have equal distance in between of the seed, right? But broadcasting or with the help of hand or by manually, the distance between the seed may not be equal, right? So this is how in case of paddy, they are randomly sown in one piece of land, and then later on they are uprooted and then replanted, right? So in that way also can be done. Then number third, we discussed about application of manures and fertilizer in the agricultural land or to the crop for their growth, better growth and yield. So how are manure and fertilizer advantages as well as disadvantages, we have discussed about that. So with this I end my explanation here. So in the next part of the video I shall be explaining the other steps of agricultural practices. So with this, thank you so much.